many of you have ever been in a club that started off pretty robustly? And then suddenly you were the one of the two people showing up for meetings? It was like that for me at High Point Toastmasters. High Point Toastmasters has made its 70th anniversary. Okay, I thought I had a big mouth. So let's try this. And for those of you with some hearing deficits who don't want to admit it, come closer. So this voice will last for the entire time. But is this working?
Yes.
Okay, great. Now, when I started High Point Toastmasters, I was very excited that it was a club that had been around more than 60 years. I thought for sure that means longevity. It didn't mean a thing. Before long, after I stepped into the role of Vice President, Education, Secretary, a couple other things, we started to dwindle, not because of my involvement, let me say, that's what I like to believe, but because we lost our space. We went from being in the same place where people knew exactly where to come, where visitors knew how to return, it was on a main thoroughfare, to losing it because we lost one of our officers who decided to take her ball and go home. It happens. We were not secured in our building, so we started to move. We got another spot. It was convenient. It was best price, free. And then we lost that space because that person lost his site. So we moved 2 or 3 times, and every time we moved, guess what happened? We lost people. The kiss of death is location or the lack of the same location. So we got down literally to having 2 people who were regularly showing up. It's kind of bad when you're all the officers and all of the entertainers and all the evaluators and everybody else. It was tough. Whenever we brought people in, they would see 1 or 2 people. We would try to engage them right away, and they felt overwhelmed by the fact that it was something they had to do every time. Especially if you're a new person, you're trying to decide if you even want to have a speaking role. Now you have some kind of role every time, so that was difficult. So we went from being a strong club to nearly nothing. How many of you have clubs in danger of slipping off the abyss? What are some of the reasons that you would give for that? Yes? Changing location, very bad. What else?
From a corporate club, retention, team members move on to other locations or they leave the company.
Right. Corporate clubs, yeah, if they get a promotion, they get transferred, they don't have the time anymore. Looking at the infographic out there, it shows that most people might move through in 2.5 years or so. So the challenge is to find long-term members or to keep replacing them. Who has another reason? Yes.
A community with a small population.
Small population. If you have a small population, especially, and your timing isn't perfect either. So you have to have everything right if you're in a small town, right? Can't be on Wednesday night when there's church meeting. Yeah. Can't be too early in the morning because guess what? Ain't nobody coming. Can't be too late. So finding all those ideal things. Well, we had the same time of day forever. It was 5:30 p.m., which was perfect for people getting off work. When we moved, we had to change to 6:30 because it was in conflict with the place. Then we moved, and finally we just said, okay, we were being threatened by District 37. You don't have enough members. You're going to have to shut down. And so then we got busy. What can be done to ensure a club success? I will tell you my case study in a minute, but what do you think can keep your club from getting there? Let me give 3 things. Yes?
Quality meetings every time.
Quality meetings every time. That means you know what you're going to do, you have your people lined up, and people follow through. We still don't do that, but yes. A quality leadership team starting with the president and making sure that everyone does it. Okay, I'm going to take 4 because I have 2 energetic hands. Yes, ma'am.
Meeting weekly.
Meeting weekly. Weekly is good. Weekly is good. Yes.
Having strong friendships within the group.
Oh, very good. Very good. That intangible, that thing when you walk in and you feel like I'm home, that I'm with my family. And even though family can be not always everything you want, but Toastmasters family. People have said there's always someone that's starting some stuff. Where's Lee Hall? I don't know if she's still in here, but she said there's always someone who's instigating and someone who's sitting and going, yeah, instigation. If you're fortunate, you will have the kind of Toastmasters family where you feel good about being there. Even if there's some times where everything isn't perfect, you have the ability to fix it. That you have someone who can serve as mediator when you see things going the wrong way so they don't slip off into the abyss. Those are very good reasons. Now let me tell you our story. So you know that we got to the point of having 1 or 2 people begging up stuff. So then I was like, oh, we got to have members. So you know what I did? I invited my family. Christmas present for Valda, sign up for Toastmasters. First was my son. He just about fought me like a bear. I was like, come on. You don't even have to come on. Just give me a check. That is literally how I started. I had to start with the most basic of survival, that is getting the numbers in, then getting to where the meeting is quality enough for people to want to be in. My son really has missed his calling as a stand-up comedian, so he loves to be the table topics master. I found a role for him that it was worth his time to get up to come in. Now, so we were still looking for a place. We thought, if we move again, it's just going to be dead. So I went to the Chamber of Commerce to find out what was the possibility of having a meeting there. They immediately said no. We can't let you come in because that would be favoritism. What about the other businesses? We can't give them space. I talked a lot, I talked long, I talked frequently, I begged, I cajoled, I took folks to breakfast, and finally they said, okay. If you'll stop bothering me, I'll let you have a space. Now, in order to be in the chamber, I had to become a member of the chamber. So here's another expense. You have no members, very few, you have no treasury, so I just took the hit myself and paid the first year, which was $250. It's not terrible, right? It was workable to have a space. What was a benefit of joining the chamber? Networking immediately. They have something called BizLinks. They meet on Tuesday mornings, and guess what the chamber does? They come in to say, here are our events for the coming week. We have our networking group, we have our business after hours, and we have a Toastmasters Club. Now I get all my members, new members, pretty much from the announcements from the chamber. I'm telling you, it's really good. Plus, it's seen as a business imperative, so either they pay as small business members or their businesses pay for them to come in. And they're coming in signing up for the year. Excuse me? Yes. Instead of every 6 months, baby, now it's just once a year. I need your check for $112. Thank you very much. And what I do is I charge them extra for the fee for being a chamber member. They don't even blink because they know it's a nice place. It's always there. They have a beautiful setup. And being a member of the Chamber of Commerce, as we are, means that they can go to all the chamber events at either no fee or reduced fee. So they get a benefit from that as well. What are other benefits of being with the chamber? We have that huge list of everyone that's a chamber member, that every time they put out a newsletter, our information goes out with it. We're going to talk about some good marketing. We learned in the last session the things that you can do, social media, etc. We do that too. I use Facebook, I do Facebook ads, but I get as many people in from just being a part of the chamber as anything else. And of course, we have killer meetings, as you might imagine, because I'm part of it. And sometimes I got so tired of being the speaker every time. But yes, that's how. Now tell me some of the issues that you're having. Anyone who's willing, who's having a problem with your club, what do you consider to be the problem that perhaps we can problem solve right here? Yes?
You almost alluded to it, so filling roles.
Filling roles.
Especially corporate club and just filling roles because there's turnover in corporate.
Right. So,
my job comes first before Toastmasters and get that.
right. Your job comes first before Toastmasters. So the point there is to find their reason to be there other than they have a corporate benefit of being paid for them. what is the reason for them being in Toastmasters? Not everyone wants to be a speaker. Some people, though, especially from the business perspective, want to be able to have that extemporaneous speaking down. So it may be that instead of having 3 speaking roles, you have more table topics where people have the opportunity to be called on the carpet to say, Bob, I want you to tell me about the evening sales report. And you have a sales report mock-up there where they can then stand and talk about what's on that piece of paper, because that prepares them for the work that they need to do. Now, the 5 principles of motivation is to understand what each person needs. It's the WIFM. You've heard that, right? What's in it for me? The first time I was approached by Toastmasters, one of my department members asked me if I would bring in a Toastmasters club for them because they did a lot of presentations in the community. And I said, well, I'm quite willing to help out with that. And a Toastmasters group came in to give me a demonstration meeting or to talk about what would be the benefit. All they did was just make me mad. I'm like, I'm never gonna get that 30 minutes back. They did not tell me the benefit to me, that it would be for my company and for the people in my company, because they didn't bother to do the research about me. They had a standard Toastmaster speech. This is the benefit of Toastmasters. It wasn't the benefit to me. So I did not bring them in, nor did I join Toastmasters for several years because they put me off. Make sure you're not doing that. If you're a club that's really, really focused on making sure you have the next world champion in your club, make that known so that people know what you're there for and find out how they can help with that, or be okay that it's not their club. Not every place is for everyone. Then focus on the benefit to the individual. As I said, my son thought he was way too busy for Toastmasters. He couldn't be bothered. He'd been to a couple contests that I didn't win. He hated y'all. You know, my mama should have won that contest. So he really did not have a good impression about Toastmasters. But once he got in there and he found that it was more than speeches, it was more than parades and pageantry, it was about something he could do. Then that made it good for him. Then, what are the expectations? Are your expectations that people will take on a role right away? Many